I honestly have no idea if this is working or not, so I might look really stupid just having it in front of my mouth. But we're still gonna do it anyway because any chances to get away from this windy weather. It's actually beautiful weather, which is why I've come outside. And also, I was gonna do this on my camera, but it's not working, and I want to make the most of the sun. So, what I want to talk about briefly, I suppose, today is where we put our energy and why is it so important. So, I'm just going to jump straight into it. Obviously, we know that energy is such a powerful thing, and we know that where our attention goes, our energy flows, and vice versa. I feel like women, on the majority, are more kind of energy givers in this day and age. We're always talking about kind of the anxious avoidant kind of trap, and I feel like women in this day and age have kind of become the chasers. They are the ones kind of with the anxious attachments, kind of always thinking about men and other people and trying to be like the wounded feminine, kind of excessively caregiving about everyone else. So, this is a message mainly for women because obviously, as a woman, I'm speaking from my own experience, but also to anyone who has been giving their energy away to people who don't reciprocate it, whether this be kind of relationships, exes, situationships, or even like certain types of maybe friends or whatever. But that's my main kind of target audience with these people, of people who like probably women on the majority who are giving their energy away, specifically probably to men, but it can really apply to anyone. I hope you get what I'm trying to say. So, I feel like women, especially, we have a lot of creative energy, and I feel like our energy works more on the spiritual level because I feel like we're so creative and we are kind of here to create life that where we put our energy, that it kind of manifests into creation. Whereas for men, kind of stereotypically, being the people of action, the go-getters, the drivers. I feel like they often pursue things more materially, whilst we are pursue things more energetically, which is why I think it's so important to talk about where we put our energy and where we put our focus. So, I have just come out of a relationship where I had constantly all of my focus on him. I was constantly anxious. I was constantly thinking about him. I was constantly worrying, kind of, for example, if he had like a bad habit in his life, I was always trying to fix that and trying to improve him and like going throughout my day and always thinking, like, what is he doing? What is he thinking? How does he feel about me? And just having gone through this breakup, I obviously still had a lot of attention on him because I was still, it's a very deep thing. We feel like we are responsible for other people's well-being and or response. This isn't just single to women, but to anyone like who are very giving and very open. Like we're people pleasers. We kind of give our all to another person, give our entire kind of heart, but in ways that are unhealthy. So maybe this comes up and shows through kind of anxious attachment, or this shows up through kind of trying to manage other people's lives, which is obviously not a good thing for either them or us, as just human beings who want to do and have the right to do and feel and think exactly how we want to. And it's the trap. I feel like then we get into this trap of feeling responsible for other people's feelings. And these can be very, very, at least it was for me, very, very deep wounds that go right down to childhood. I was brought up in a religion where it was taught that obviously the women serve the men, and that kind of, you are your father's daughter, and then you're your husband's wife. And so those things are deeply ingrained also in us as a society. That's a tongue twister. As a society, because obviously we have kind of been a religious society in the Western world with these Christian values, which I was raised with, of kind of the woman being the homemaker, the caregiver, which I'm not denying completely, but in the way that we are meant to be responsible for other people's well-being and managing other people is a complete 3D kind of false construction. So the thing that in the last kind of month or so has really, I've noticed, really has kept my heart being open and has really saved me in a sense, is putting my focus on my female friendships. Because I tend to find that women are very kind of emotionally open, and obviously I'm just talking from my own experience, but putting my heart and putting all the love that I had for him into people who had been consistently choosing me, for years, who are my friends, it has been so rewarding, more rewarding than I ever thought was possible. And I understand that this can be difficult because of like things like girl drama. But I feel like when you find true, genuine friends who, don't have any of that fakeness, and you don't need to perform, your genuine friends, which I understand it can be a hard thing to find nowadays. But if you have friends like that, us women, because I feel like we're so creative and we're so loving and open, which is incredible, and also men can be too, but women in their kind of, we are taught to kind of be open, and so it's easier for us, whereas I feel like it's harder for men who have been taught that they need to be strong and like kind of maybe not as emotional their entire lives. But because we are so emotional, because we have so much creative energy, I feel like it's so easy for us to amplify each other's energy, It's easy for us to say I love you to each other. And when you come out of a situation where you have been the giver, where you have been the bringer of love, it's very, very important, I've found, to remind yourself that you are valued outside of this relationship. You are actually valued as a person, and you have people who love you. And when you put that love into the people who reciprocate it, because I feel like this is just a lesson in reciprocation. When you put all of that into people who amplify it and give it back and take it, and you can healthily take and receive love, it makes you feel like your world has opened up for you. I remember watching a video by Wizard Liz, and she was talking about how she had something about buying her mum a house or something of that effect. And she was talking about when you take care of a woman, I'm just reading my notes, when you take care of a woman, it makes you more attractive. And I have really also found that it makes you happier and it brings blessings to your life, like she said. But obviously, don't do it out of that kind of motive to get something back. Do it because when you're out of this, you've got all this love. Pour it into those who love you back. And then you will also realize, as a very important byproduct of that, that you deserve to have people who choose you, and you deserve to love people who love you back. You deserve to have people who love you in the same manner and intensity as you love them. You deserve reciprocation. And this is such a message to myself as well. When you can give freely without attachment and also without expecting a certain outcome in return, because for example, if you're feeling very anxious in a relationship and you're trying to be all caring to make them inadvertently want it, like kind of prove your worth to someone, when you're giving love without trying to prove your worth, it's a very powerful thing, and the universe brings that back to you when you are vibrating on the frequency of just pure love and gratitude, and sitting in the gratitude of like, wow, I am so grateful for my friends. I am so grateful for, those around me who choose me. And, every day I can wake up and know, and I won't be afraid of them not liking me anymore, because we all choose each other. When you are vibrating on that very, very high frequency, you start to attract more of that, which is obviously a very, very basic law of quantum resonance. But like I say, when you are vibrating on the frequency of love, you will attract more love. So it can only amplify it when it is reciprocal. And also, just on a more of a surface level note, it's a good it's a good distraction. It's important to surround yourself with fun, because you need to kind of take your focus off of this person. When and this is something that I really, really struggle with, is that I'm not responsible for anyone else's feelings towards me. I'm not responsible for anyone else's life. And no one is responsible for yours either. But, you don't have to manage someone else's life and feelings towards you in order to get them to like you or in order to prove your worth. So, like I say, I was with someone who couldn't hold the love that I had to give and who was kind of who who couldn't show up for me. But your friends a lot of the time, and I really found this because I felt like because my focus was so insanely kind of fixed on my ex, so weird calling them an ex. My focus was so incredibly fixed on him, and I feel like I kind of neglected my friendships and the people around me who truly cared about me. Not to say that he didn't care about me, because I'm sure that he did, but the ones that were consistent in the way that they showed up for me. It's very, very easy when you're on this roller coaster of emotions to kind of neglect or forget or kind of withdraw from the people who are choosing you and showing up for you kind of consistently every day, because you're so addicted to this roller coaster of, will they show up for me today, will they not, what do I have to do to get them to show up for me in the way that I want. And that can even turn a bit kind of manipulative, and just, but that's another topic for another day. But the point is, choosing people who choose you is also you choosing yourself. When you give the love that you have and the heart that you have to give to people who can actually hold it, it's a lesson in choosing yourself, because you refuse to give to people who just take and don't give anything back. Okay, so now I'm gonna finish this video because my brother's staring at me. Because my brother's watching this video as it's being filmed live. Okay, so yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!